Hey there, it's Sarah Curcio. I'm here for the WIN Takeover Live, and I am the programs manager for those of you who don't know me, and I'm also the New Jersey leader. And if you happen to be in the Jersey area, we are having an event on Sunday, September 8th. Had to think there for a minute. And we'd love for you to come out and get to meet all of us in person. So just FYI. And as the programs manager, I also run the mentorship and volunteers. So if anyone's interested in that, reach out to me. We can set up a call and I can go over everything because, that's what WIN is all about. We are women into networking who win by empowering each other. And it also includes the men that support us. Hey, Courtney, thanks for joining live. But in addition to being a part of the WIN community, I'm also here to talk about what I do outside of that. I am the CEO of Sarah Social Strategies, and specifically, I work with ambitious, driven, goal-oriented entrepreneurs to help them develop organic social media strategies that will spark engagement and insight along with increasing visibility and credibility. And I choose to work with individuals that are ambitious, decisive, goal-oriented entrepreneurs. So if that sounds like you and you need help with your organic social media marketing game, please reach out to me. I'd love to have a free discovery call with you. And just to get a little more specific, because sometimes people get a little confused about what it entails when they say organic marketing. So that includes blogging and SEO, which is SEO specifically for blogging, not necessarily SEO for the whole website itself, because that can be a different ball game. In addition to that, it's email campaigns, free lead generation, which is all about engagement, community management, which can be things like a Facebook group, a Clubhouse house, things of that nature. And then, of course, social media in and of itself, like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. So those are some of the avenues of organic social media strategies. And I wanted to come on and kind of explain that a little bit more because this September, I am one of the speakers for the conference. So if you are in Atlanta or ready to come out to support WIN, please join us, because in the breakout room session, what I'm going to be doing is talking about identifying your ideal client avatar and then attracting them with the social media marketing strategies. So that's why I wanted to come live and go over this with you, because a lot of people get confused with identifying their ICA, which is short for ideal client avatar. And oh, thank you, Courtney. Yeah, I love these effects too. I always like playing around with them. But, when I have the breakout room, I'm going to have a handout with a list of things you can fill out to help figure out what your ideal client avatar is. And if you've ever been to my Clubhouse room on Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we always go over that. It's a networking room, but we go through all the points to identifying your ideal client avatar. And, we were just talking about this the other day, and the foundation of an ideal client avatar is, of course, what we're all aware of, such as gender, age, demographics, which is your location, and things like that. But that's just the bottom of the house. You got to build upward and keep going. And there were so many different working components. So once you have that narrowed down and identified, then you'll be able to figure out, okay, what is my master platform? What is my avenue to find these individuals that I really want to work with? And, it can be a little bit difficult trying to necessarily figure out your master platform, because with any type of marketing, it involves a testing phase. And sometimes people can get frustrated with that. But like Allegra always says, and I know she's watching, thanks for joining, keeping track of your stats can help you with this. Like for one example, with email marketing, you can test the days and you can test times that you think work best for your audience. But if you don't keep track of your open click rates, which is how many people have opened your email and how many people have clicked on your call to action that you've inserted in your email. So if you're not keeping track of that, that's going to take twice as long to figure out, okay, why is my audience not responding? So keep track of your numbers, review your analytics and insights for your Facebook groups, your Facebook pages, especially if you're using your page to share a post onto your profile, which I highly recommend. I highly recommend that, as long as you're posting some personal things in between, particularly on Facebook, because we don't want to end up in quote unquote Facebook jail. So that's why I always say have a little bit of that balance, even if it's something simple you're posting, like, a date night out, or, say you went to a networking event and posted some pictures and you tag a few people that attended with you, something simple like that. You don't have to go crazy with all the personal stuff, and you don't have to do it right then and there when you're out. You could do it hours later or the next day even. It's okay too. But throw a little bit of that in there too, just so we comply with Facebook. But of course, there are other strategies to do it too, to finding your ideal client avatar, such as engaging with stories. And a lot of people don't necessarily take advantage of that, because you can utilize polls, questions, and there's a lot of new different things that they're always adding. The algorithms are always changing. And with that, let's see, Courtney, what is Facebook jail? Oh, well, to explain that, to backtrack a minute, Facebook jail is when they limit you. So if they don't like something you've done, they can do various things, including stop you from commenting for, say, 10 to 14 days. That's just one example, and that's a milder version of Facebook jail. I've known other people who gotten locked out of their accounts, period, for a certain time frame. So that's what Facebook jail is all about. Unfortunately, at some point, I think we've all experienced a little something like that. So that's just an FYI. But, story highlights can be good, not just on Instagram, but they can be good on Facebook as well. So use those things to your advantage. Like being as strategic as you can with your master platform, your email campaigns, even your blog. What does your closing look like? What hyperlinks do you have there? What opportunities are you giving your readers to connect with you on social media, on a discovery call? Are you putting all of that together? Because if you're not, then that's going to limit how you're going to be able to help your ideal client avatars pain points and pleasure points, because their pain point is the problem they're having, and the pleasure point is the transformation that you are going to help them achieve, basically by helping them with their goals. Whether it's something as simple as saving them time, or it's something like increasing their visibility, or possibly helping with potential sales, depending on, what specifically you do with your products or services. That can all differ a little bit, but you get the main concept. You need to help them with their pain points and pleasure points. So if you're not able to do that, then that's where you run into the problem, and where you need to backtrack to your blueprints of your ideal client avatar. Because if something's amiss there, that's going to affect your marketing message. And thanks, Allegra. I appreciate it. Hey, Karan, thanks for joining. Yep. And also, let me know if anybody has any other questions. Please feel free to drop them in the chat. I'm happy to answer it as I go. Or later, if you watch this later, give me a hashtag replay and ask your questions. If there's anything that you want a little more information about, or if something that I didn't cover that you think I might be able to help you out with, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, so those are just some of the areas that you can focus on with your ideal client avatar. Some other aspects can be, do their goals and their values align with you? because you want to make sure that you can get along with your ideal client avatar. You don't want to be like, oh, everybody's my ideal client avatar. And at some point, we've all thought this. We've all been guilty of it in business. And, we learn as we go, and it's just not true. I used to think that when I first started too, and when I started out originally as a virtual assistant, because that's how my journey kind of began, because before that, I was actually in the medical field. I always focused on health and wellness, holistic health care, and I worked in like nutritionist offices, eye doctor's office, but what happened was my health kind of hit, so I ended up starting to work virtually. And I started out as a virtual assistant, figuring out, admin things and social media. And I always loved writing. From the time I was in high school, I was, the editor of my paper, and it kind of just grew from there. But, if anybody has heard me talk about this, and Allegra knows specifically, I did not like business when I was younger. And it's ironic that I became an entrepreneur, but you never know what's going to happen in life, right? So as I realized that I preferred marketing, I got involved with coaching programs to enhance my knowledge, did a lot of research on my own. So, self-taught, tested things myself. When I was in the health and wellness industry, I used to run a celiac group. So I was used to handling smaller events. So I guess that's what also attracted me to the WIN community, because I love hosting our events like that. And for those of you who were there, I know Courtney was at our event. We had one back in March and May, and we sold out. So let's get this one sold out again too. But, that's just like a little bit of my backstory. I'm also an autoimmune warrior. So that's how I ended up where I am now, over 7 years later as an entrepreneur. And I'm really happy. Like, I can't wait to hit that 1 decade mark. Let's see. Courtney, you said you can relate as an artist. You don't like business either. I think that's an artist thing, because my brother says the exact same thing, and he's an artist. Like, but you guys are business owners technically. Hey, Ari, thanks for joining. So, everybody has their own individual journey as to how they got into business and, where they started versus where they are now. And I'll be honest, when I look back at when I first started blogging for clients, like back in 2010, 2011, and I look at that old content in my portfolio, because I actually printed things out just to save it, I see how I've progressed, and I'm like, I actually wrote that before. Like, it just doesn't fit to where I am now. So it's kind of funny to see how you've grown yourself, because it's been a real journey for me over the last 10 to 13 years, I'd say. So it's been interesting as to where I've come up with. And if also, I was doing pet sitting for a while. I am an animal nut. It just got to be too much, so I had to take a break for a while. But I loved working with the pet parents and working with the dogs and the cats. Like, they just are so relaxing and so enjoyable. And I was even at a networking event last night with somebody I collaborated with. We would help each other out with our pet sitting. And she's like, if you ever want to get back into it, let me know. Because she showed me her calendar, and I'm like, maybe down the road. But yeah, it really, really is enjoyable. It's very relaxing. Let's see. Courtney. Yes, I've seen the growth in my art. It used to be very dark and scary. Well, yeah, it's nice, like, when you look back on it, right? And you see the difference in your own portfolio. It's funny. Even different things that you were paid to do versus what you're creating now and paid to do. It's very different. It's interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, that's a little bit about my background, about who I am, what I do, what I have to offer. My tagline is making magnificent and magnetic marketing. So if anybody does want to take advantage of that, I offer either content marketing, which I do it for you. I help develop, write, and strategize. Or if you just want to learn for yourself so you can start implementing it on your own, because a lot of people want to do that too, I offer one-to-one strategy sessions. So it's 30 minutes on, various social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, and even the Nextdoor app, because a lot of people forget about that, and that can be very beneficial if your ideal client avatar is really your local community. So don't forget about that one, because I feel like that's a little bit of a lost social media platform. So I will drop some of my links in the chat, or maybe I'll just tag my profile so you guys can reach out to me. And then I can send you the links to get on my calendar for a free discovery call. And yes, Allegra, you're right. Everybody should start locally. I used to think the opposite. I used to think, oh, well, I'm virtual, so that's all I need. But I've learned otherwise, and I've gotten clients locally because I switched my mindset on thinking that way. So, all right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, ladies.